All right, guys, our writing plan for this week is as follows. I'm going to kind of run you through the overview first, and then I'm going to walk you through the steps that I took. So I'm reading right from the top of that PowerPoint. I hope you can see the same. It says writing plan for May 4th through 8th, and that first bullet point says, I'm going to show you today my notes for all 3 of my research questions. I will do that momentarily, but my questions, just as a reminder for you guys, the first one was what animals are unique to Australia? And then second was, what is school like in Australia? And then third, what can I learn about the Aboriginal people of Australia? So then I'm going to choose one of those topics today, and I'm going to choose unique Australian animals, and then I'm basically going to run you through the plan for today, or what you should be doing, for this week. So I would like you to look right here at this underlined part. It says, this is the work you'll do this week, so pay close attention to this video. Know that you can watch it as many times as you need to, and I'm also working on a little document that sort of shows you the steps, okay? But number 1, you're basically going to take all of your notes, and you're going to make little groups of material or ideas that go together. And then you're going to order them in a way that's going to sound great in paragraph form. We are not writing our paragraphs this week. That is the work of next week. But for today, our job is to A, make sure we have our information sort of organized in the right way, and second of all, that we have enough information. So this says, are your notes missing something? Go back and do more research. I think it's going to be pretty clear for you to see if you are starting to look through your research and you come across something that seems too short or like you don't have enough information. It's going to be easier today to go back and try to get some more information if possible. So let me get out of this screen. Perfect, and you guys should hopefully be looking at my research right here. So this is only part of my screen that you can see. I have probably, 15 notes on Australian animals, but I want to show you that these are all the notes that I have for the Aboriginal people of Australia. There's probably about 9 or 10 there. And then I have about probably another 9 or 10 right here that are all based on the school and what school is like in Australia. And then while I was doing research, I just found 2 things that I thought were kind of interesting. They didn't fit any of my research, but I wrote them on the separate little post-it notes so I could maybe use these later on, maybe in my introduction and conclusion. So if you come across something that's really neat or about your area and you don't have a place for it to go, you should still take a note about it because it might be cool for your introduction or your conclusion paragraph, okay? Or maybe we'll even do a fun page of just fun facts about your country. So don't try to read all of these. There's way too much information, and I wrote pretty fast, so some of them are a little sloppy. But I want to walk you through my plan for today and what I'm hoping that you are able to do on your own with your own research. Reminder, if you would like to have this conversation with me on Zoom, just log in anytime from 1 to 2. I'm happy to sort of talk you through your notes, okay? So these are all, like I said, these are all about Australian animals, and I really tried to focus on Australian animals that are really just unique to Australia. And so when I was taking all of these notes, I started to notice that they talked an awful lot about mammals, and then they also started to talk a lot about like animals that are sort of dangerous a little bit, and also just animals that only show up in Australia. So the reason that I'm saying that, I'm hoping that when you think about your country, you can start to figure out what are areas that sort of all will help you sort of group everything together. So for example, like I said, a lot of my research focused on mammals. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through all of my notes, and I'm going to make a stack of notes that all have to do with about these Australian animals that are mammals. Okay, so this one, for instance, crocodiles, jellyfish, great white shark, definitely not mammals. Kangaroos I know are mammals, so I actually might make this my first stack. So I'm going to put that one there. And then this one's also talking about kangaroos giving birth, so I'm going to put that one there. It says koalas look like a bear, but they are definitely not one. They are a marsupial, and it says right there that that's a mammal. So I'm going to put that on this same little stack right here. And then this note says animals only found natively in Australia. These are not all necessarily mammals, so that's not going to help me out. Look at that. Echidnas are a mammal, so I'm going to put that right there. Platypuses have a duckbill, and I'm not even going to read anymore because I already know that they are a mammal, so I'll put that there as well. This is talking again about the echidna, so I'll put that guy there. You'll notice there's some Elliot dog hairs in there because he travels with me everywhere I go. Kangaroos and wombats, again, more information about mammals. Wombats are a mammal, so I'll put that there. A cassowary is a bird, not going to help me for right now. This is just kind of a note about why they're all unique, so that's not going to fit. Ooh, this is a good one. This one says mammals of Australia, so I'm going to write that one, put that one there. Kookaburras are a bird, so I'll put that over here. An emu is a bird. I should have started a bird pile. And then this one's talking about a spider, a very deadly spider. So I'm going to put that one over there. So basically, I've narrowed down my research into one group at least, and so far I have mammals. Now, like I was saying, I could probably continue with this. I could be making an entire pile about birds. And I'm just thinking out loud, you guys. I'm just kind of talking you through my process. As I was going through these notes, if I decide that I want to talk a little bit more about birds, I'm probably going to have to go back and find more information because I really only know about 3 birds. That's actually probably enough, but I might want to go back and talk a little bit more about that. And then this one was about the animals that are natively found in Australia. So these 2 notes would probably go together. And then even here, crocodiles, jellyfish, great white shark. I don't know what I was thinking. That's not even really a note. But then this one talks about a really deadly spider. I got really interested in the deadly animal aspect of Australian animals, but I didn't actually find all that much research. So if I like that, I might have to go back and find a little bit more. But for now, I'm actually going to push all these notes aside. I'll come back to them later. They're still part of this paragraph. But right now I want to take these notes about mammals and I want to try to order them in something that's going to sort of make sense and flow together. So I'm going to try to place these out for us to see. Maybe. There we go. I had to use Post-it notes because I was so focused on giving you guys note cards, I forgot to take some home for myself. Okay, so I have my 9 Post-it notes that are all about the mammals of Australia that are native and only live or born or are native to that area, I should say. So just looking over kind of how these go, when I think of Australia, the very first animal that I think of is a kangaroo. So I see right here where it says there are 50 different kinds of kangaroos in Australia. I think I might want to start with kangaroos. And so I'm going to try and find all of my pieces of information that have to do with the kangaroo. So I see this one that talks about kangaroos, and I see this one as well. So this one says kangaroos give birth to babies that are very weak and need to live in a pouch on the mom's belly. And then I said kangaroos and wombats are marsupials. They carry their babies in pouches. These are pretty similar, but that's still good. This is still going to help me flow all my information together. So I'm going to kind of just stick these 2 next to each other, and then I think I'm also going to include them here. So there are 50 different kinds of kangaroos in Australia. So I'm going to stack these 3 just like this because they all kind of are the same information within my mammal paragraph. Okay, so then I'm going to come over here. Actually, ooh, look at this. I'm already changing my mind. Do you see here how this one just simply tells me the mammals of Australia? This seems to me like the perfect introduction to my paragraph. And you guys, I didn't even plan this. I didn't even like sneak that one in there, but I like that. I think that's the perfect introduction. And in fact, if I were to write that, I would just mention the kangaroo first. But maybe, since I also see koala, wombat, and Tasmanian devil on here, well, I have a little information about koalas and wombats. So I think maybe naturally these 2 might need to go next. I think that's a good idea. So I could then put my koalas here, and then I could put my wombats here. And now I just want to keep looking to see what the rest of this is that I have. Well, I have 2 things about an echidna, and I have 1 more thing about a platypus. And that to me seems like just a good natural progression of how to, continue this paragraph out. So again, this is not really making a paragraph. Instead, this is just helping you see how your research could go into a new paragraph form. I don't need you to write the paragraph this week. It's totally what we're going to do next week. But your job is just to ask yourself, am I missing research? Do I need to go back and fill in the holes from this piece of research that I have so far? So here's what I'm starting to think. Again, Mrs. Glassy just thinking out loud here. I think that my paragraph would start with something about saying one of the most common animals to find in Australia are the many mammals unique to this area, something like that. And then maybe I would say those include kangaroos and koalas and wombats, and I would actually probably take out Tasmanian devils because I don't have any research on them. So I would probably just take that piece out, okay? And I'm even going to put a little arrow over here to show that I would want to talk about the kangaroo first. Then I could maybe say something like, there are 50 different kinds of kangaroos in Australia. That's a pretty good sentence. I might even put a star in the corner of this note card because I like that sentence just as it is. And then it says, kangaroos give birth to babies that are very weak and need to live in a pouch on the mom's belly. That seems pretty good. Let me just check my next one. It says, kangaroos and wombats are marsupials. They carry their babies in pouches. I feel like I'm not going to put a star on either of these because this is important information that I want to include, but I don't actually like the way that they sound, so I'm going to have to change up the words a little bit, but that's not the purpose for today. My job is just to make sure that I have enough information, and I think that I do. However, I think, since I mentioned a wombat, I think I need a little bit more information here on a wombat. So I'm going to make myself a little note. This says wombat, and this is going to help me when I'm done today with this video. I'm going to go try to find one more piece of information about the wombat because I'm missing it, okay? So then this one says koalas look like a bear, but they are definitely not one. They're a marsupial, so that's good. Oh, look at that. Wombats was just in the wrong spot. I'm going to put wombats here. And look at that. I'm going to get rid of my Post-it note. It says, wombats look like small bears. They are the largest animal in the world to dig underground to find shelter. Ooh, then I kind of like, how perfect is that? These are even from two different resources. But I like how this one talked about a wombat looks like a bear, and this one also says that a koala looks like a bear. So I actually think that those two go together really well. That's awesome. So then here I'm going to talk about echidnas and the platypus, and these all seem to go together perfectly well. And in fact, I might even come back up to here. Maybe I should put on here platypus and echidna so I can talk a little bit more about that. So I think the number one thing that I might be missing, since these are all mammals, I should probably tell what a mammal is. So I should probably go do a little extra research to tell of what a mammal is, so I can add that to my first piece of research, okay? Now, just a reminder, I have 3 pieces of information about birds, and I have some information about other animals that are not mammals or birds, and then I have some like reptiles and insects, and then I have some information about how they're just simply found in Australia. Now, I probably have a lot of information, and I'm hoping you guys do too, but I want you to understand that this is all technically going to go in the first paragraph. I'm just trying to find all the information and start to put it in order. So now that I have my mammal section of one paragraph put together, I would maybe focus next on the birds. And then maybe after that I would go over here to the other animals like the great white shark and the Sydney funnel web spider. Now, this might be something that I have to use my judgment on. Maybe I don't have enough information, and maybe I already have way too much everywhere else, so maybe I won't even include much other than a sentence about the fact that they have very deadly spiders and that they have lots of other reptiles and fish life, okay? So maybe I just use this as one sentence, and that would be totally fine. I've got a lot of research here. And then I think this is also important to include. My job would maybe be to decide, do I think this goes at the beginning of the paragraph, or do I think it goes at the end of the paragraph? That's my job. I'm taking all my research and I'm trying to put it in order from the top of a paragraph to the end of a paragraph. Okay? So you've got 4 or 5 days to try and get all of your research organized, and your job is to really, really ask yourself, do I think that there's any more research that I need to go do? Don't start your paragraphs yet, friends. I promise it's what we'll do the next week. Don't need to get yourself any more ahead than that. Log into Zoom if you have any questions. Otherwise, get to working. Thanks, guys.